All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life.
Welcome to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, Twitter and Facebook Live. I am Sterling Holmes live in studio. Darren Smith, I knew he wasn't coming in today because it was raining outside. I knew that was a lock. He wasn't making it into the studio. Darren, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I was actually coming out today, Sterling, but like you said, the weather it wasn't all clear skies or whatever, so I decided to just turn around and do the show from now. Plus, I was actually helping my brother with some software at his house, so by the time I got through, I started coming out. I said, I'm just going to turn around because I ain't going to do nothing, but, this weather ain't going to do nothing but make me sleepy on the road, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
Dude, I need a nap hardcore, but someone is in studio, just walked in. Busy man, always right on time.
Somebody sitting in
grinding.
the big boy chair today?
Yeah. I'm in the big boy chair, ready to rock and roll, man.
How you doing, Leabo?
I'm great.
See, wouldn't it be nice if we could just not come into the office if it's not 75?
I'm going to get tired, Yeah,
Darren, we want to nap,
Darren's going to
too.
get sleepy on the road.
Yeah, Darren's going to take a nap halfway through the show.
18-minute drive to work. Can't make it.
I'm not going to start with y'all today. Now, I don't know about you all, but I'm having a better day than Sean Miller of Arizona. Of course, he was fired today from the Arizona Wildcats after 12 years on the job. He had 1 year left on his contract, Leabo, and unlike Bill Self, he wasn't, he was looking to get a contract renegotiation or a contract extension, but the Board of Regents decided, as long as we got this NCAA infraction stuff hanging over us,
he got 3 more years than he thought he was going to get, man. He was deep in this stuff. I mean, he's on wiretaps.
Was like 2017?
Yes.
Yeah.
He got more years than you thought he was going to get. And then he, I think if they really wanted to go after him, even back then, if they went on their own, they could have fired him for cause for being on these wiretaps. And so he should count every penny he got the last 3 or 4 years.
But he's a hell of a head coach. They knew that he's a good head coach. Who else you're going to get? Looking like
Nick Nolte was a hell of a head coach of Blue Chips. It doesn't matter, man. I mean, you do wrong, you do wrong. You gotta pay the cost.
Well, his biggest cost that he had was they weren't very good.
Yeah, his last couple of seasons.
Yeah,
probably last year.
Yeah, that's a bigger deal. Bill Self's got some issues still hanging out there over the NCAA, but they won the league, not every year, but they won the league. They were the number 1 team in basketball last year. That's different.
But you know what you do? What he did, and when your team's the worst possible, you do the 1 year postseason ban, self-imposed, when you know you're not making the tournament anyways.
Yeah. Arizona, I thought Miller handled that thing so he was just like, I didn't do anything. He was just adamant. I've done nothing wrong. And then there's tapes of him, but whatever. Interesting thing. Rough 2 weeks, 3 weeks. When did his little brother get fired? Archie got fired from Indiana 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Bad months for the Millers.
Yeah.
Still doing pretty good, though.
They made plenty of money.
Yeah.
Do you think Sean Miller's going to get a job somewhere anytime soon?
Of course.
Mizzou.
They always do. Yes.
If we're being honest here, he's a proven head coach. Sure, he cheated, but how many in NCAA haven't?
So you think like next year, or he's got to sit for a year and go be on TV?
He'll probably sit for a year, and then Sean Miller will be back. The name Sean Miller will get a fan base fired up.
Well, I don't know, because, the thing is, if you get punished by the NCAA, whether you're on TV or not, I would presume, and Leabo, correct me if I'm wrong, that even if you decide to come back, you're still going to have to serve a suspension, am I right? Unless you just decide to go to the NBA or someplace else.
Yeah, I don't know. He hasn't gotten a show cause yet, has he? He wouldn't be coaching right now. If you get a show cause, you got to stay away. That's what Kelvin Sampson's issue was. He had a 5-year show cause. So when he got in trouble after being at Indiana, he went and sat on a bench with the Bucks.
But again, did he get a job again?
It took a while. He didn't get a college job.
Bruce Pearl
9 years, Kelvin Sampson was out of college basketball. I don't think that's where it's going to be with Miller, but there's no job open that is a job for him right now. It's probably going to be a little while for him, but I don't know if he'll have to go step down to a mid-major or what it's going to be.
Was it Rick Paterno or Rick Pitino?
Well, he just keeps working everywhere.
Yeah. But, I mean, did Bruce Pearl get a job?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's my point.
Sure.
Sean Miller will have suitors. He may have to wait a little bit.
Bruce Pearl still works at the place that they got in trouble with.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, he literally does not care.
Was it Tennessee?
Bruce Pearl got in trouble at Auburn.
Yeah, and then he took him to a Final Four.
Now, Bruce Pearl's first troubles started when he was an assistant coach, and he ratted out another program, and then he kind of got blackballed, and he wasn't going to get a job. Then he finally got that job at Tennessee. So Bruce Pearl was a tattaletale.
Like
snitches get stitches, right?
And Final Fours.
Yeah, back in the day. And then he took the Tennessee job, and then he took Auburn and got Auburn to a Final Four. But the wrongdoing happened down there was while he was there, even. So, it's dirty business. We know that.
Now, obviously, they're looking at replacements with Arizona ties. There's potentially Damon Stoudemire from Pacific, Josh Pastner, Lakers assistant Miles Simon. BYU head coach Mark Pope has also been linked to the job from earlier this season, and even Eric Musselman is another man that they've said has gauged interest. If you were Arizona, how would you look at it? Would you look at it kind of like a KU type deal where you're trying to find someone that could kind of restore some luster to the Arizona name, or what?
I don't. They have not hired a lot of coaches at Arizona.
No.
They've had 2 long-term coaches. This is not something that happens every year. So I don't know what the right hire is for them right
Eric
now.
Musselman, I think that would be the ideal.
Well, he's only been at Arkansas for a year.
I don't think he's leaving Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas right now is a better spot probably than Arizona, wouldn't you say?
Depends on what you want to do with your life, I guess. I mean, Arizona's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Nice weather, all that stuff.
Arkansas.
It'd be weird to take not impossible, but just go to Arkansas for a year and then bail on them. Pretty nice. I mean, they were a 2 seed, 3 seed.
3 seed.
3 seed.
Bama
was a 2.
They did a nice job getting up to there. I don't know what they would do there. I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. I will have to wait and see kind of how it shakes out. But this is not a job that's open all the time.
No. I'll ask you guys, with the Gonzaga, Tommy Lloyd, the assistant being thrown in there, do you think a lot of the assistants at Gonzaga are going to start getting that touch, that Sean McVay? Remember the Rams, but everyone wanted to just be a connection to Sean McVay. That was good enough to get you a head coaching job. Is being a connection to Mark Few going to start being the college ranks version of this? Maybe.
It's kind of how it goes sometimes. We'll see. Who'd they had? They had one dude in between Lute Olson and them, right? Let me look that up. They had a little – Kevin O'Neill got in trouble. That's right. He was the old Pitt coach. And then they had a guy for a year, and then Sean Miller. And before that, it was Lute Olson forever. Yeah, so this isn't a job that just comes open every 2 seconds.
In other news, I guess he had a press conference the other day. Now, I didn't get an email.
No one got an email on this, Darren.
Okay, yeah, okay. I just want to make sure, because I know when I saw going across my timeline on Twitter, I saw Seren's Seren's tweet. I was like, well, I started checking my email. Like, I don't remember getting an email about this. But KU introduced, I guess, the new athletic director, Travis Goff. Today, obviously, he's a former KU graduate. He has been an assistant athletic director at previous universities. Leabo, I presume that you got a chance to listen to it, because I think
we carried it live on 810 and listened to it. He was fine. He did not get asked a lot of hard-hitting questions about NCAA investigations or anything. Got a few questions about football and what he's going to choose. I think I've talked myself into – I'm 51-49 that maybe the smart play for Kansas football is to just keep the coaches who are there now for a year, because I don't know what you can hire in the middle of April for a college football program.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, we've seen this happen, at other programs where they have someone set in for a year and do it. I don't know. Who can you hire in the middle of April right now to fix Kansas football?
Who can you hire at any time to fix Kansas football?
Well,
Yeah.
well. Look, you can always hire a starter. Someone who really wants a break that may not normally get a break anyplace else. I mean, you can find people who would want the job. The question is, obviously, because of the time frame. You're looking at trying to install new offense and all this other stuff that you wouldn't have a lot of time to get your team ready and prepared for. And then, of course, you still got recruiting if you're trying to do that. So I'm with you in that aspect, Leabo, where you just roll. Where you just go with the flow. You have an interim head coach for this year. That way you don't have a real change or 180-degree change in what type of offense and defense that you're going to be running next year, especially with the players that you currently have. So, I mean, I'm with you on that. But the question I have for you is, as it relates to that, you said you didn't get hit with a lot of hard-hitting questions. Did anybody ask him whether or not he agreed with the university giving Bill Self a?
Oh yeah, he's loved it. It's great. Bill Self's a great guy.
Well, I mean,
Absolutely.
he can be a great guy, but did anyone ask him whether or not that should have been a decision for him to make?
No, he was fine with it. Here's what I honestly think. I think they knew this was the person they were going to hire, probably for a week.
Sure.
And Bill got that deal last Friday, right? Is that correct? I think it was Friday.
Yes.
So they were probably like, hey, what do you think? And he's like, yeah. Here's the weird part about Kansas basketball. Bill Self was hired by an interim athletic director. Drew Jennings was the athletic director after Al Bowl got crushed in the driveway like a dove. They hired a guy who was in charge of like an energy company, said, can you come in here and hold on to the boat for a while here? And in the meantime, they hired Bill Self. Then Lou Perkins got hired. He had nothing to do. Lou Perkins didn't have to hire a football coach because Al Bolt had already hired him. He didn't have to hire a basketball coach. He just got to come in. Now, this time, this dude comes in. He doesn't have to worry about Bill Self getting a contract extension or anything. It's just done. But he's got to worry about the football coach.
Yeah.
That's a big decision. So I think he's fine with that. I mean, who would say you don't want Bill Self to coach your team,
Yeah, but to that point, though, because we didn't get a chance to have you on, obviously, when this was going down. But what are your thoughts on this quote-unquote lifetime contract? Do you agree with it, especially knowing that, that he's also facing potential show calls with the NCAA?
Well, they put some of that stuff in the contract. I mean, they've covered those things about if he gets in trouble, it's going to save him some money and all that stuff. Here's the deal. Kansas does not care if Bill Self gets in trouble with the NCAA. It's going to cost them some money. They don't care. They don't. And he doesn't care.
Well,
that's what
they've shown they don't care.
Yeah.
See, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just a right, wrong kind of guy. Because if that's the case, then I mean, never mind. I don't even want to say it on there.
What you're saying? Why doesn't Mizzou hire someone to get in trouble to win Final Four? Because Banner's staying. Darren.
No. What I'm saying,
Reggie Miller still won the Heisman, or Reggie Bush still won the Heisman.
Again, if you don't get the gist of it, I just mentioned the guy's name earlier, Nick Nolte. I mean, if that's the case, then Bill Self can go and do all the blue chip cheating stuff if KU doesn't care.
Well, isn't that what's
been
going on?
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
I mean, the FBI said things were going on. NCAA's investigating right now.
Well, hold on.
It's just what it is.
Okay, hold on. If that's the case, then they come next year. Bill Self better have some of the top recruits in the country next year, and they better be making a Final Four run. Because if KU's going to get his man carte blanche and don't give a damn whether or not he gets in trouble or not, or whether or not he cheats or not, then
it takes a little while to get back to that top tier.
Yeah,
I mean, right now their recruiting class next year is pretty good. I mean, most places in the Big 12 and the SEC would love to have Kansas' recruiting class, but it is not as good as Baylor's recruiting class. All right. And it's not as good as a lot of schools' recruiting class. I think they're right now in the top 20, right about somewhere in there. Okay. But they don't have the number 2 recruiting class in the country because, and I think this is partially some of their own doing, they decided not to take a self-imposed year. They decided to fight the NCAA. All that is done is kick the can down the road, basically, is what it's done. So if you're a kid who thinks you're going to go to school for 1 year, do you want to go to a school that may not make the NCAA tournament? Like, let's say you agree to come there now in the late signing period, and then in 2 months, they put them on probation for the year. Well, I'm only going to be here for 9 months. This sucks. So I think they've hurt themselves in the short term to try to prove they were right and fight this thing out. That's what I think. So I don't know where it's going to end up. I think some of their better teams that they had weren't with the number one player in the country. Their better teams were the ones where they had Frank Mason for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's been the better teams for them. So I think sometimes you can get, you see the shiny, glittery object out there. You say, oh, I want this kid to be on my team. Sometimes you might be better off with 4 guys in the top 80 who play together for 4 years.
Baylor, Gonzaga, very good representation.
Absolutely. We'll see if Gonzaga can keep this up because they got a one-and-done kid this year. Suggs is like probably not, and they got 2 top 5 kids next year. I don't know how it's going to go for them as this goes. But here's to tell you where I've said this, and I do not mean this to be insulting, but it is insulting. Kansas wasn't the best team in the league this year, right? By far. I know they beat Baylor once, but they also got drubbed by Baylor once, and they beat Baylor after they've been gone for 3 weeks, okay? After Baylor had to take it to the wire against a team that didn't win a game in the league this year. So Baylor was not right when they played them, and Baylor just embarrassed Gonzaga. So Baylor was great. Kansas is a long ways away from being as good as Baylor.
Sure.
Okay? Kansas lost this year twice to Texas. They lost to Oklahoma. They lost to Oklahoma State. They lost a lot of games this year. This isn't a team or a program that's as good as it was 5-6 years ago. They have now lost in the last few years the league to K-State and Texas Tech 1 year. They lost it to Baylor this year. Now, they won it last year. I'm not saying that this is not an awful period of Kansas basketball.
Yeah, them falling off was the number one seed going into
Sterling. He would die to be as bad as Kansas
so you kidding
is.
Me? Yeah,
Same thing with me at Oklahoma. Yeah. But where they are right now, I'm looking up their recruits, and they got a kid from this place out here in Wichita, Bel Air. It's Bel Air, Kansas. It's called the Sunrise Christian Academy. This is the Midwest mouth of the Wilson type place, right?
Okay.
This is where Buddy Hield went to school from the Bahamas. This is where they have players that go D1 and find their way to the league. So Kansas has a kid I think he's ranked 30-something in the country, and he's from that school. That's pretty good, right? Well, there's a kid who's 11th at that school, and he's going to Baylor. So Kansas got the second best kid on a high school, and Baylor got the best kid. So it's going to take them, I think, and now who knows if Baylor just won the damn national championship. It may take them a little bit to get past them, but I think, like I said, I think they've hurt themselves by fighting with the NCAA in recruiting.
Is Scott Drew, it's officially time, I think, now to say all those people a while ago who said he could recruit talent, he could get him there, but he could never win any big games. Remember that? What was it, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Everyone kept saying, oh, he's a great recruiter, but he can never seem to get over the hump. How was he able to do it? With all the talk of him not being able to win any big games, KU just owning them for so long, even though they would get top recruits. Is this just an example of sticking with your guy?
Well, he's sticking with it, and they had some good players. Now, a lot of their guys are going to be gone. And this Kansas already picked up a kid from Drake today in the transfer portal. These teams are going to be wild next year. The guys who are playing at schools that they weren't. And Baylor had kids playing from Auburn, Presbyterian College, UNC, whatever, right? They had transfers out there during this thing. So the high school recruiting is one thing. I mean, Kansas this year, and this, like I said, I'm trying not to be insulting, but they had a kid from Blue Valley Northwest and a kid from Oak Park High School playing for the team. That's supposed to be what UMKC has playing.
Well, Blue Valley North, by the way, won state this year, so are you saying?
No, I'm just saying that Christian Brown is a fine player, and Ochai Obaji is a fine player, but they should be in a regular Kansas team. They should be the 7th and 8th players on the team, not the 2 and 3 players. I mean, they started and played minutes, and I'm not. This is insulting to the Kansas City basketball, I guess, but there just aren't dozens of Division I Power 5 kids who are playing. We saw some good ones. The kid down at Abilene Christian hit the free throws.
Yeah.
He was a teammate of Christian Brown's, right?
The 2 guys at Northwest, Custer and
Clayton Custer and Ben Richardson, where it's Loyola Chicago had a kid from Mill Valley on their team this year. Yeah. So there's some of those guys, but that shouldn't be 40% of your starting lineup.
They're not NBA players. Those aren't guys who are going to the show.
So that's what when I watched Kansas play Texas this year at home and get beat by 25, I'm like, this is not your Kansas basketball team you used to be seeing. And Texas always has athletes, right? Sure. And when you watch Kansas play against Baylor, that first time you're like, wow, which one of these teams is wearing which uniform? Kansas was not the most talented team in the league, and that's super rare to say.
Well, what do you think? Look, you talked about the transfer portal. Of course, it's about 1,100 players that are, or names that are in there. Should they not look at getting going in there and pulling some of those top? Because I know Duke and Kentucky got some top players that would have been probably one and done had they not been so bad this year. But they have top players that are transferring from those schools. Should Kansas?
Oh, they're all recruiting everybody, man. They're all getting after everybody.
Is Kansas is Bill Self
Kansas already got
offering
2
enough money?
transfer kids right now.
Did
They already
offer-
got 2.
Did they offer enough?
Enough what?
Moolah, I guess, for them to come.
I'm not sure. Well, who knows, man? I mean, Kansas is going to be fine. When we joke about how awful it's been,
Dude, they're the number 1 team going into, if there was a tournament, literally last year.
Yeah, they were the overall
they were
number
the-
1 seed last year.
Yeah, they were the favorite 20 last year. I mean, but they would look. They probably would have faced Baylor. They probably would have faced Gonzaga in the finals, and who knows what would have happened.
Or they could have lost to anybody because that's how the tournament goes.
Or
You know who
Roberts.
looked like a top 4 team was Illinois, and they didn't win 2 games. This
Texas.
is what happens. I knew Texas would suck. I knew that, and I didn't think Kansas. I had Kansas losing that round. I didn't have them losing by 34.
Yeah.
But they got some work to do.
How bad is a transfer portal for college basketball, or is this here to
Oh, I
stay,
like
not
it.
just
It's going to be
COVID?
like forever.
Oh, I like it. I mean, I like it. I mean, look, as much as college coaches get a chance to move around, and of course they don't have to wait a year like players used to. I like the fact that now players can take their own career into their own hands and just and transfer to another school if need be.
The thing that I don't like about it a little bit is there was a lot of fighting going on because, scholarships used to not be 4-year deals. There was a series of 4 one-year deals. So they could, a coach could run you, which they did that. And there's been a lot of fighting to make this be you're guaranteed to have 4 years. And then now they did that, and now it's like, all right, well, you can just leave. I get your point, Darren, that coaches can leave and do all that stuff. And that's just kind of life. Sometimes you're the boss and sometimes you're not the boss. And the coach is the boss, right? And a player's not the boss.
Yeah, but even the coach has the ball, so
Right, and they can leave too. But I think what has happened in college basketball, and I think you could trace this back, salaries have gotten monstrous. There's a lot of money in the game. I think one of the worst things that athletic directors did was they started putting incentives in their contracts that say if we finish in first place in our league, that the athletic department, the athletic director gets a bonus. That's a joke. It's bad enough a coach gets a bonus. They should not have those things in there for athletic directors. So these guys all feel guilty now. They're like, oh, I feel bad. All we're doing is giving this kid $150,000, $200,000 worth of scholarship, plus housing, plus actual stipends now with real money. And don't say that $4,000 isn't real money. If you're 18 years old, $4,000 is real money. I don't care who you are.
If you're my age, $4,000 is real money.
And maybe it's not
That's
an
a-
hourly rate, whatever, blah, blah,
That's a
blah, blah,
roof.
blah. Being a basketball player at Kentucky or Kansas is being a 1%er on a college campus. I don't care how much money your family has. If you are a basketball player staying at McCarthy Hall and flying to Rome in the summer to play basketball, and then going to New York City to play in the Champions Classic, or going to Hawaii, or going to the Bahamas, you are a 1%er in the world of a student in college, 100%. Okay, so I balk sometimes at the exploited college athlete because I think they are making a lot of these rules about name, image, and likeness, and all of the stink about sharing this and all this stuff. They're doing it for the kids who have it better than everybody else at college, and they have it better than everybody else who is a college athlete. Go ask the kid who's on a 1/8 scholarship playing baseball somewhere about his cold lunch he gets when they go on the road to play a doubleheader in the middle of the week. And then ask me about, the 5-star hotel in Chicago we stayed at, and we went out and ate a $80 steak.
Well, hold on.
I'm just saying.
Hold on now, Leabo, because I got to give a little pushback on that one now, because, I mean, you're making it sound like that these college players aren't being exploited. I mean, because
I'm saying that there's levels of exploitation.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm saying, look, Bill Self getting $7 million, and that's based off of me putting the ball in the basket, and I'm not, you can say, okay, you can say education, you can say flying to Rome, but still, he's still getting $7 million. But when I'm hungry, Bill Self can't quote unquote give me any money to go feed me or something.
No, they let them do that now. When they go to the Great Eight or the Champions Classic, these kids all get to go out to a nice meal. And now
they're for it. Yeah, the school.
Exactly. That's my point. That's what it is.
But Leabo, when I was in high school in Central, when we went to state, we went to different cities. Yeah, the school paid for it. But it wasn't like we was getting paid. That's what comes with it. that's
high school.
That's what
I'm telling you that if you're a student, like if you're a student who's just a student at Grand Canyon University and you're just a kid, and because these are student athletes, and you're a student who's a Division I basketball player at the University of Kansas, you're both just students in college, right? Well, the kid at Kansas who's playing basketball who doesn't have any student debt and he has tutors given to him and he doesn't have anything to pay for, books or anything, is a 1%er compared to even if a kid is from a nice family who's got 2 kids and two jobs and no divorces, and they got a mortgage and a thing, and they got to take out a few $1,000s worth of student loans and have a much better life than a kid who has nothing growing up. For those 1, 2, 3, 4 years, you're living high on the hog when you're a student athlete in the basketball program at Kansas compared to almost every other college student in America. That's what I'm saying. Levels of exploitation.
Yeah.
You like your new Samsung phone you were texting me about today, right?
No, hold on. I didn't get
you like that phone. Oh, you haven't got it, but you like the phone. Well, someone's making the phone.
Right.
Well, they're getting exploited. That's what employees are or subordinates are.
Yeah, Leabo, I'm getting exploited by you right here.
Sterling's getting exploited right now.
Yeah.
That's just the way the world goes.
Sterling was born with the gold spoon in his mouth. So,
but he doesn't have it as good. Even as rich as Sterling is, he doesn't have it as good as the 13th guy on scholarship at KU's basketball
I don't know
team.
about
I'm
that,
wearing boots from,
I'm telling you,
10 years ago.
For those 4 years where you're in
Sterling
college.
has an island, okay? Sterling's family owns an island.
So maybe Kansas basketball go play there.
2.
See?
I'm just saying, it's specifically basketball, okay? Because people watch this tournament and they say that it's being exploited because the tournament brings in $1 billion or whatever. But if you're a basketball player, and not even a basketball player at Gonzaga, if you're a basketball player at Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, all this stuff, your life is eminently better than almost every other college student in America. It's just great. It's a great life. I listen to these guys on these podcasts when they go to the NBA. They talk about the 6 months they were at Kentucky, how awesome it was, because you're the king of the world.
And you don't have to really...
And you don't got to do anything. Someone's probably doing your homework for you. You got tutors, all this stuff.
Just check out North Carolina.
What a life.
Leabo, just because you had it that easy at Oklahoma, don't put that on the rest.
I didn't have it that easy. Yeah. I didn't have it. I worked every freaking day in the school cafeteria. My parents helped me pay for school.
But you ate well, though, didn't you? I bet you never missed a meal, now, did you?
No, I had to eat at 3:30 and then take food as it came in on the cart when it came back, and then beg the lunch ladies take leftovers home. But I'm telling you, dude, being a student, you know how many times I got to go to the Bahamas when I was in college, or Hawaii?
I don't know.
Or none. I didn't get to go anywhere. You know how many times there was a tutor that helped me with something? 0. But nobody hollered at me when I was at practice either, so I guess I didn't have it so bad. Because I missed a back screen. Come on, man. There's levels of exploitation is what I'm saying. And I don't think a basketball player at Kansas is exploited at the same level as lots of people in college athletics. That's what I'm saying.
Well, a few times we actually agree to disagree. I still
That's
think,
fine.
I still think when Bill Self was making $7 million and, Josh Jackson and other people complained about not having some money. Yeah, I got. Now look, if you were like me, when I was at Lincoln University, players, athletes, whoever needed some money, I'd drop a 20 and tell them, look, what you see, what you find is what you find. But
we just get an NCAA violation right here. What do we got going on?
Call it what you want, but that was years ago. So
what I'm saying is the people at Lincoln University have it much tougher than the kid who's playing basketball at Kansas.
Yeah.
Now look again. Now, like I've said, if Kansas is going to give Bill Self carte blanche, then Bill Self should be able to go withdraw some money and from time to time in a shoebox put $10,000 in there, just leave it underneath the player's bed or something.
Sounds like that might have happened.
Yeah,
to
it sounds like
there.
this is
I don't know
pretty-
if you listen to the FBI.
Pretty likely.
Wasn't them though, because the schools were victims.
Yeah, it was an accident. How did that $10,000 get in that shoebox under a bed?
I don't know. I mean, that's something we'd have to ask Sean Miller when he made those payments to to Aiton. So we have to figure it out. But I know we got to take a quick timeout, Sterling. When we come back, got to hit Leabo with some more potent stuff, maybe some Deshaun Watson talk. You never know. Keep it locked in to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City.
Are you looking for unique sporty clothing and merchandise that makes you stand out from the crowd? Do you love Kansas City sports teams? The Cherry Company designs and creates fashion-forward gear for athletes, avid sports fans, and everything in between. Check out our famous Casey Mahomes denim jacket at cherrysportsgear.com or find it in stores in the Made in KC, Lee Summit, or Plaza location. Sport styles, sport local, sport cherry. Want a 20% off discount? Mention 810 Sports in store or use code 810 online. Stay on top and visit cherrysportsgear.com today.
It's patio season. There is no better way to enjoy a safe and socially distanced meal than on a patio at Hereford House. Be treated like a king or queen on their patio with a 21-day aged, hand-cut daily, certified Hereford beef steak that is grilled to perfection over charcoal. Looking for something lighter? Enjoy their guest favorite salmon BLT or chicken Cobb salad. Go to HerefordHouse.com for hours, new menu items, and to make your reservation. Hereford House, voted Kansas City's favorite steakhouse.
This is Darren Smith inviting you to join Sterling Holmes and myself weekdays at 3 p.m. on ESPN Kansas City for the Darren and Sterling Show. Make us a part of your afternoon schedule as the only daily live local sports show on ESPN Kansas City. From the locker rooms to the Zooms and the biggest sporting events, we cover all of your favorite local sports teams and all of the major sports leagues. We provide unmatched insights and bring you the interviews from the best and the brightest in the business. Darren and Sterling, weekdays at 3 p.m. exclusively on ESPN Kansas City.
Schlotzsky's has just what you need to start the new year out right. All of their sandwiches and pizzas are made with their baked fresh from scratch sourdough bread. At Schlotzsky's, they offer curbside, drive-through, socially distanced dine-in, catering, and delivery. And remember, the Schlotzsky's $24.99 lunch and dinner special for a family of 4. Any 4 medium sandwiches or pizzas with 4 chips and 4 cookies for just $24.99. Available at all 5 area Schlotzsky's. Funny name, serious sandwich. That's Schlotzsky's.
Boulevard believes in easy indulgence. That's why they decided to put Tank 7 in cans. Their distinctly American twist on a classic Belgian-style farmhouse ale takes its name from the notoriously unpredictable fermenter where the signature beer's perfect combination of ingredients first came to life. You could call it fate. Their brewers call it Tank 7. Grab a 4-pack and treat yourself to a Tank 7 today. You deserve it. Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City, Missouri.
In these trying times, Kansas City Credit Union knows how important cash flow is in your household. With rates near all-time lows, now's the time to take action. Free up some cash by lowering your monthly car loan payment when you refinance your auto loan with Kansas City Credit Union. And as a bonus, Kansas City Credit Union will delay your payments for 90 days. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information. Kansas City Credit Union, your path to financial freedom.
Welcome back to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, Twitter and Facebook Live. Hey!
Yeah! How you know that one?
I don't know, was that right?
Yes, you were right.
Okay. I remember a TV show called The Monkees. And
Yeah,
for some
that's
reason,
right.
I thought there was a real group or not.
No, it is a real
yeah.
group. They were kind of a fake group, but it was a real group.
They were a fake group that became a real music group.
Yeah. It was like a group made for TV. Now, I'll give you who wrote that song.
Oh, that I don't know.
Because I have no idea. I was just good at saying
Smash Mouth.
Yeah, they covered it
I
in the
know.
Shrek 2 soundtrack.
Yeah, the
Which one
Shrek
was it?
2
I sure
soundtrack.
was, wasn't it?
All right, so Neil Diamond wrote that song.
Wow.
Bang. Put
You
that
know
in
who
your
I
pipe and
don't
smoke
like,
it.
though?
Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond.
Why don't you like Neil Diamond?
I can't. Boston mostly. I just
Hold on.
love Neil
Hey,
Diamond.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The Monkees were like they were a playoff of the Beatles. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, kind of. Like they were trying to make this like, madcap little group of dudes who had a little TV show, and they eventually started writing some of their own songs.
Yeah, like
and performing
Not Your
them.
Stepping Stone was a great song.
Yeah, I think they wrote that one.
Yeah.
But a lot of them were written by someone else. But you're right, Darren. Darren's on this.
That was a good one, Darren. The whole intro.
I'm excited about that one because I was just taking a guess shoot out the dark because I was thinking to myself, okay, I remember watching a show called The Monkeys growing up. My grandma was watching whatever.
Yep.
Like, hey, I'm
Davy
a
Jones
believer.
and what's the other? Davy Jones and Mike Nesmith and Peter Tork. I think I remember the names a little bit. But so here's Neil Diamond wrote that song. Neil Diamond wrote a lot of songs. So in like whatever year, I can't remember what year, maybe 91-ish too, something like that. I was going to watch Metallica, who I know you love, Darren. You love the heavy metal, at Sandstone Amphitheater back in the day.
Love Sandstone. It's still Sandstone to me.
Always. You can call it whatever you want. It's Sandstone to me.
Yeah. Isn't it still Sandstone now?
Nah, it's called something.
It's something else, but it's still Sandstone.
Verizon or
Damn it.
something.
Amphitheater. Okay.
So I went to the Metallica show. It was great. They rocked. And then like 1 week later, my parents were supposed to go watch Neil Diamond. And my dad got sick and he couldn't go. So I took my mother as like a 22-year-old kid to Neil Diamond.
Oh.
Okay, so I saw somebody throw up at one of those concerts.
Sure.
Which concert was it? Metallica or Neil Diamond?
Well, I'm assuming Neil Diamond by the way you...
Yeah. Neil Diamond, some overserved ladies in front of us, too much red wine.
Yeah.
Nobody threw up at Metallica, and some old lady threw up at Neil Diamond.
Surprising no one threw up at Metallica.
That I saw. I'm sure someone did.
Someone did. They're
Not
riding
in-
the lightning, dude.
Yeah,
they're
not where
there.
I was sitting, but I saw someone too drunk to stand at Neil Diamond, and the Metallica crowd, it was relatively well behaved.
You could say it's sad but true.
It's sad. Well, this is even before. No, the album just come out.
That'd
So
been
it's sad but true.
91.
Yeah,
That was 91.
it came out then. So, but I have the ticket stubs tonight because I just recently put this ticket stub thing together in my basement, and they're 1 week apart. Metallica and
That's
Neil
funny.
Diamond.
Actually,
Neil Diamond cried crazy.
You had me at taking your mom on a date to a Neil Diamond concert. That's what you had me at.
We did it.
What about I
tore
did
it up.
Rick Springfield? My mom and I went to Rick
Really?
Springfield. Yeah,
Rick Springfield is like 70-some years old now.
I met him. This is probably about 12 years ago now. Nice dude. I still have the little patch,
Now, you know what I just noticed, Leabo? Sterling couldn't let you just have that moment of you taking your mom.
We had to one up. Well, I went backstage.
I'm not.
And Rick
trying to,
Springfield came to my house and he babysat me and he ended up feeding my fish. We were out of town and Rick came over and we had to feed the fish for 2 days.
Well,
and he
actually-
went ahead and changed his tour so he could do that.
Well,
we had to
actually,
go to Ireland.
he actually told us Victoria's Secret. That's what it was.
Ah,
yeah.
yeah.
See, there you go. It was going somewhere with it.
We're joined by our sports director out of Union Broadcasting, Mr. Todd Leabo, on the Darren Sterling Show here on 94.5 FM, 1510 AM. Leabo, I wanted to switch discussion over to Deshaun Watson. And look, we already know that he's facing 22, 23 litigations. We had one lady come out publicly with Tony Busby yesterday. Another one had the letter read during the press conference. I'm not really concerned about innocent or guilt right now because they'll both they'll all have their day in court. But someone brought up a good point to me and asked me, and this is what I want to throw out there: is do we see a scenario where Deshaun Watson may not ever play football again because if he's not going to settle and he's going to try to fight this, which I don't have a problem either way, whatever he decides to do. But if he decides to fight at the NFL, they're going to have to decide sooner or later to put him on the commissioner's exempt list, so he can take care of this. But with just the sheer volume of cases and accusations and allegations against him, do you see Deshaun Watson playing in the NFL again?
Yeah, I do. This would be really, really amazing if he didn't ever play again. The backdrop of this is funny or interesting, I guess. He's got this stuff going on. Well, now Nike has dropped him today, right? Is that what we saw? Yeah, and so the corporate America doesn't like this stuff. So that's one thing.
Well, it's taken them 3 weeks to decide to drop him, and that was after a woman came out publicly yesterday. So
yeah, put a face with the name.
So it's not like they didn't know about this 3 weeks ago when all these accusations start coming out.
But maybe they've done some due diligence and checked, and now you've got people actually not just being on lawsuits. You got someone out saying some things. So that's a bad enough thing to have over your name, but you're just trying to live your life, right? But the other side of it, he's in an absolute war with his own franchise because of the way they've run themselves. You could maybe ask the question, is he going to play football this year without any of this massage stuff? Just like I don't want to play for the Texans and the Texans play hardball. So there are two things at work here. But he's a young player, and we don't know yet what the league is going to do. We don't have any resolution or even really close to it about – there's been no criminal charges filed or anything from Houston, the city of, or any of these jurisdictions that he's allegedly done these things in. So there's been no criminal issue there. Right now he's got a civil thing on his hands, basically, right? And it's the middle of April, and you're asking me if he's going to play football again. I'm going to say yes. Will he be playing football on September 15th for the Houston Texans? I'd probably say no. Where do you think?
Well, I'm just thinking, one, I'm with you. I'm thinking on the no part for September 15th or whenever the season starts. But the main concern is because of the sheer volume, unless there's some type, because it doesn't seem like this lawyer for the women is willing to settle now, even though I think before all this stuff came out, they perhaps were trying to, and Deshaun decided, well, I'm going to fight it. But I don't think he realized the sheer volume that he was going to be hit with. I don't think his lawyer is doing him any favor, because if anything else, Deshaun is getting killed in the court of public opinion. If you're this lawyer, from what I listened to from the press conference on yesterday, he is even thinking of bringing the Houston Texans organization involved in this lawsuit because of some of the people that he says that they may have recommended him, and the fact that and it could get to a deeper scenario where if it's he's making it seem like because Deshaun may have bought plane tickets and flown people in and Uber and stuff like that, he's trying to make it like a federal sex trafficking type thing. So that could be something that opens up into a whole nother can of worms that we haven't, that hasn't really been discussed out there. So because of the sheer volume, and look, and if it's one case at a time where unless it's like a RICO thing where they try to do it all at once, I mean, it just depends on how long and how expensive this could end up costing them. Because here's the thing, if there's any type of guilt that is shown in the civil thing, that could then turn around and open up something criminally against Deshaun. That's why I've always been, like, man, if you could have handled this without this ever coming publicly, that's the direction I would have gone, because now you open up a can of worms where, yeah, the Houston Police Department, they've gotten some information, I think, in this past week or so. But if they decide to open up a criminal investigation, now you fighting a war on two fronts, both civically and criminally. And
you're, like we said, you're already fighting with your own team.
I'll tell you what, I bet he wishes he would have just played for the $40 million a year this year
and not start the fight. And because the whole thing, it's a messy deal. And I saw the bit where there was talk of, theoretically, if you've paid for someone to come across state lines and do this and paid for this stuff, that it could be like some federal charges on like some sex trafficking. In my opinion, sitting thousands of miles away, that is an affront to a real problem in the world in real sex trafficking. Okay. That's trying to get Al Capone on tax evasion. Okay. Real sex trafficking is kidnapping of people and forcing them into, sex slavery, prostitution, things like that. That is not what this is. This is a guy who is probably too entitled in his life and felt like he could do whatever, and found some hot girls on social media and paid for them to come and
I just want to say someone who just had a lot of money that just decided he wanted to just have some fun and use massage as
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. You're just entitled. I got this much. I can do whatever I want. I have so much money that, hey, we all want to go somewhere. Let's go somewhere. We all want to go on vacation. I can pay for everyone. I see this person on social media and I want to have them come in and give me a massage. I can do that because I have that much money where I can do that. That's when I say entitled. Like I've got so much I can do whatever I want. That's not, in my mind, what a major real problem is in sex trafficking, which is like going and finding some disaffected youth and exploiting them. You hear these things about someone getting followed on the highway and pulled over and kidnapped. That's not what this is. So I hope they don't go try to put some charge like sexual trafficking in on Deshaun Watson, because That's not what he's doing.
Well, and it'd be even tougher to convict him at that point anyways.
Well, by the letter of the law, that may be what they're thinking. I could just do this, and maybe they could. But I think that's misusing the law, in my mind. That's not what that's for. Because there's a real problem. I mean, you go kidnap people in countries and bring them to America and make them do this. I mean, those things happen. You go find some kid who's homeless or out there strung out on drugs and have them go. That's what that is. That's not finding some hot girl on Instagram in Atlanta and flying them in to get a rub down. That's different. It's creepy and maybe or maybe not illegal. Whatever he did, that's for someone else to decide. But that's not sex trafficking, in my mind.
No, I'm with you, and I hope if anything is learned from this, like, bro, you got a beautiful girlfriend, or at least I thought you had one, and being in Houston, I'm pretty sure you can find one.
A lot of fish in the sea. A lot of fish in the sea.
Yeah, to where don't to put yourself in a situation to begin with is irresponsible, and makes me think of them much differently, obviously, because
sure.
I've been on record.
Me too.
The Chiefs should have drafted him instead of Mahomes back in 2017. But
it's one thing to have some sort of a transgression once or twice, but we're talking double digits in a year, and then your defense is, well, look at these 20 people who got a massage from who didn't have a problem. Okay, is that your deal?
Like 20 out of 70, like that's not a good good percentage there.
First off, why are you going to so many different people for this? You're doing that because you've got something going on that's not just getting a massage. Yeah, that's what that is.
But also, this is in the COVID. Some of it was pre-COVID, but most of it is with
during COVID. Yeah, when you're supposed to be following you're supposed to be following protocols. Yeah,
no wonder he went 4-12.
Well, they didn't have their mind on football. Didn't sound like that. Franchise was a mess. They fired the coach in the middle of the season, all that stuff. But they didn't have it. They weren't on lockdown. That's for sure.
Sterling, you stupid for that comment, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Leabo, so look, we didn't get a chance, but what were your thoughts on the Final Four? I mean, of course, I think I finished third in the A-10. In the A-10.
They never put me on the deal, did they?
Well, you weren't going to beat me, but yes, they did. So
what was your final points? I'll look it up while we're talking. Were Baylor was awesome. Baylor was just great, man. They were great. I thought they had a chance to beat Gonzaga. I did not think they would be up 20 points on them, but they were outstanding. And you knew that could happen if they were making all those shots. They made their first 6 threes.
Wild. Do you think, though, if you're Gonzaga, you can take at least a little solace in knowing no one was beating Baylor on that night?
Yeah, maybe. But, listen, Gonzaga's made their second title game, and they hadn't lost a game this year, so they're not taking anything. They were just like, oh, man. And they looked shell-shocked 3 minutes into the game, and they kind of responded and got it to 10. And then it's like 5 minutes into the second half, you're like, God, it seems like Gonzaga's playing better, and they're down 12. I'm like, so they lost. I mean, Baylor was just outstanding. No one was beating Baylor on Monday night. No one.
Yeah, so looking at the brackets, Rudy came in first, Briscoe came in second, yours truly came in third.
How many points did you have? I'm trying to find my bracket online.
Points.
I only had 62. Okay, so what would 62 have gotten me?
62, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd have tied for 7th with Jed.
That's not bad.
You'd have been behind Corey, Soren, and Jason Anderson.
Which one is Soren's? How many? He had 17.
Soren had like
Soren's out. What was it called? Was it his name or someone else's name?
Who knows what Soren had like about 15 brackets.
And they all had like some had some names like Icy Wiener or something like that.
So the one where he had the most points was Beastly Noodle. He had Illinois winning it, and the blind bandit with Gonzaga had 63 points. So
did Rudy have Baylor winning? I don't think he did.
No.
I don't think
everyone had Gonzaga winning.
Myself, Rudy, and Briscoe, we all had Gonzaga over
Baylor.
But I think I came closest with the points. I think I had 160. Either at 156.
Well, the tiebreaker doesn't matter if you're in third place.
Third place, Darren.
I know. No, but I'm saying had we won, but predicted points scored in the final, I had 165 points. And I was telling Sterling that I had either 156.
It was 156, so you're 9 points off.
Yeah,
all they needed was 9 less points.
I was 4 points off. You don't hear me say. You know why? It doesn't matter.
For you to jump up, Sterling, and say, "Look at you."
Well, no, my whole point is, Darren,
I had 148. I had 148.
It doesn't matter.
I was
So you weren't even
148.
in the top 10, so you can't talk.
I had 148. How's that?
Well,
Sure.
at the end of the day,
Fine. Now 156.
That's 8.
But at the end of the day, Leabo,
And I'm
Better
under.
than Darren.
but
Yeah.
Leabo, at the end of the day, I won money that night. That's what's
There you go.
important.
That's all that matters.
Sterling knows I won money because I sent him photographic proof. So, yes. All right, well, let's take a quick time. When we come back, I want to talk about Kevin Durant. He finally gets a chance to return to the NBA after 23 games. Keep it locked in to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City.
Are you looking for unique sporty clothing and merchandise that makes you stand out from the crowd? Do you love Kansas City sports teams? The Cherry Company designs and creates fashion-forward gear for athletes, avid sports fans, and everything in between. Check out our famous Casey Mahomes denim jacket at cherrysportsgear.com or find it in stores in the Made in KC, Lee Summit, or Plaza location. Sport styles, sport local, sport Cherry. Want a 20% off discount? Mention 810 Sports in store or use code 810 online. Stay on top and visit cherrysportsgear.com today.
Sports Radio 810 and Union Broadcasting buy all of our office supplies from a great local company, Office Products Alliance. Mark Whitlow and his team provide us with everything we need, when we need it, at competitive prices. Office Products Alliance is a great Kansas City company who cares about our community and cares about you. By supporting local Kansas City companies and charities, we all make Kansas City a better place for all of us. OPA is online at opakc.com.
Schlotzsky's has just what you need to start the new year out right. All of their sandwiches and pizzas are made with their baked fresh from scratch sourdough bread. At Schlotzsky's, they offer curbside, drive-through, socially distanced dine-in, catering, and delivery. And remember, the Schlotzsky's $24.99 lunch and dinner special for a family of 4. Any 4 medium sandwiches or pizzas with 4 chips and 4 cookies for just $24.99. Available at all 5 area Schlotzsky's. Funny name, serious sandwich. That's Schlotzsky's.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a cash-out refi? It's using the equity in your home to pay off high-interest credit cards.
Paid it off! Yes!
I'm James Hawkins, president of Golden Oak Lending. With mortgage rates at a record low 1.875%, you can save hundreds each month and skip your next 2 payments. You'll pay nothing out of pocket, and we never charge for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan. And remember, our local lending experts speak mortgage and love translating for our customers. Eliminating debt means putting your dreams back on the table today.
Updated bathroom?
Updated bathroom and a pool table?
Don't push it, Rick.
Get started with our fast and easy zipline tool at goldenoaklending.com.
NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.913% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
Z-Trip is hosting a job fair on April 7th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at their downtown location in the heart of KC at 1300 Lydia Avenue, KC Mo 64106. On-the-spot interviews will be conducted. Be a part of the transportation revolution. Z-Trip is now hiring mechanics, shuttle drivers, limo drivers, dispatchers, and paratransit drivers. Z-Trip offers competitive pay and great benefits. Join the team at Z-Trip. See you April 7th at 1300 Lydia Avenue, KCMO.
Welcome back to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, Twitter and Facebook Live. Leabo.
Is that Wilbert Harrison?
Yes, there you go. I wanted to make sure you got the right one.
Yeah. Kansas City.
Yeah. But there's obviously the Beatles version. And then
there's lots of different versions.
Lots of versions, but there's the two.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I did good.
You did good today. Although Darren snuck in with the one, which was the biggest surprise.
That was awesome.
Biggest surprise of
Proud of Darren.
2021 was Darren knowing it was the Monkees.
You all are going to put some respect on my name.
I am. 100%.
Appreciate
Everything's changed after today.
Appreciate that.
That's some 60s white boy music right there, and you nailed it.
Hey, man, look, thank my grandma for that.
Thank you, Grandma. That's right.
She's not here no more, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Look,
absolutely.
Kevin Durant returns tonight after 23 games at the 7 right. hamstring strain back in, I think, February 13th, right before Valentine's Day. I'm just interested. Obviously, James Harden is out. He's going to be out. They're probably going to keep him out for the next 10 days after restraining his right hamstring. What are you all hoping or looking to see from Kevin Durant in his return tonight?
When how many games you think they're going to play? I
think it was 14
in the end of the year before the playoffs with all of their guys.
I think it's 14. If Harden's supposed to come back when he's supposed to come back, I think all three will have played together 14 games.
Total.
To
the year?
Yes.
Is that going to be enough to get their rhythm and be ready to rock and roll this thing? I mean, they're very good, obviously.
Yeah, well, look.
They were averaging like 150 when there was them three healthy. So
You're funny.
Is that good?
Well, yeah, that's good. But they were giving up like 160 though too. When they first got together, I think obviously the key with the Brooklyn Nets, even with all the talent that they've acquired with Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge, I just think it's one of those things where the key is going to be the health of Kevin Durant. I think that they can do well with James Harden, they can play well with Kyrie Irving, but Kevin Durant to me is the difference maker. And unless he's healthy, I just don't see how far, how they get past Philadelphia, how they get past Milwaukee, because he is the difference maker on that team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's a stud. He absolutely is. Health's going to be the key for a lot of these teams. There's been some issues health-wise with Philly too, right?
If Embiid's not healthy, they go from a 1 seed to a 7.
Yeah, barely make the playoff team. What's the Lakers status going to be when it comes to go time? Are they going to be?
It depends on when LeBron and AD come back. Look, I mean, obviously, like anything, health is going to be dependent upon when they get back in the time, because if they don't come back in time, they're going to continue to slip the Lakers themselves. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. I mean, we'd love to see those teams play each other. We'd love to. But it's not as easy to get these old guys to the finish line. They're not kids anymore.
That is true. Leabo, thanks so much for joining us. Put me in for a credential for Monday, Leabo, with the Royals.
I'll do it Monday.
I appreciate that. And we'll talk to you again next week. Sterling, we'll do this again tomorrow. Hopefully the weather will clear up some, and maybe I can come out there and join you for the show tomorrow.
About time.
I'll stop it. Look, you've been listening to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City, 94.5 FM, 15 a.m. We do ask that you continue to social distance and wear your mask and go get your vaccination shots. We are out of here.